Financial wellness. Reach out to them for advice at 855-DON-GINO. And now back to your hosts, Don Getling and Gino Fronti.
Well, thank you for joining us on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., where we help guide you to personal financial wellness. And today is no different because we brought back, by popular demand, one of our good friends, one of our mentors, and one of our expert contributors. He is an expert, actually, one of the top bankruptcy specialists in Southern California, in California in general, and also a small business attorney, financial attorney. I don't know. We can go on and on because that's what we love about Lou Esbin with Esbin Law. He has given us a lot of advice in different areas. We look to Lou a lot of times for our clients. And then we have some things that are coming up here that a lot of you are going to be dealing with, and some of you are dealing with because we're getting the calls now because everybody thinks it's all rosy now that the real estate market is up. But some of us out there have gotten modifications that are coming due, equity loans that, yay, 10 years interest only, all these good things. The tables are turning soon, aren't they, Lou?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about is that, if you figure that December 31st, 2007 was the end of the mortgage exuberance.
Yes, yeah.
Those loans that were made in that period, the 10-year ARMs, the HELOCs, it's now 2017. It's 10 years later. Those loans are now beginning to rear their ugly heads, coming back. And all of a sudden, people are coming to me saying,
yeah, when you go from a $200 payment, which is for in general, and now it's going from an interest-only loan to a 20-year amortized loan.
Like from $200 to $600.
Yeah. You just triple your payment. It's life-changing. You just lost a car payment.
Now, the only difference, though, is that today, that person that goes through that life-changing ARM reset has equity. So if they had to, they could sell the home.
But they have equity, but the reality is that, let's face it, the labor market, the employment market has not changed. So some of those people whose loans are going to readjust, they don't necessarily have that additional income.
Right. Yeah, we haven't seen any wage inflation to keep up.
No, and a lot of those people, their kids were in elementary, junior high, high school. They haven't moved out.
We talk about that all the time.
And now they've got adult children who are living at home. They're paying for college. They've taken on Parents Plus loans. We are living in a time. You know me. I've always been thought of as kind of the village idiot. And screaming the warning. But I was right the last time, and I'm concerned about this time. You're hearing about using equity in people's homes to take out the student loans.
Yes.
Right? So I had a conversation with a bankruptcy judge the other day about this. So if you use a credit card to pay taxes, right, and you go into bankruptcy, taxes are non-dischargeable. That characteristic follows through to the credit cards. The credit cards that you use to pay taxes are non-dischargeable. So we had a conversation the other day in court, after court, we had our own colloquy off the record. How will the use of home equity to pay student loans be treated? So that let's say the market defaults again, and those are now seconds on a property, and you're able to strip away the seconds, but they were student loans. Are those student loan refinancings going to be treated as the HELOCs were treated in the last downturn, or are those student loan refinancings going to be treated like student loans and non-dischargeable? We don't know.
Okay, so that's a very interesting point. So just not that we would ever advocate that you plan this way, but then if you were to do it differently and you were to do a cash-out refinance on your first mortgage and not get a second and end up in a foreclosure, then that's an irrelevant point.
Right.
Right. So because if it gets foreclosed, the first lien gets stripped, the property rights are
second lien gets stripped.
There is no second. This is a situation where they only have a first.
Okay.
Then that's irrelevant. So yeah, that's super tricky. Like we talked about during the break, some people just got lucky and they happened to fall into the right circumstances and it all worked out, but some people don't.
Right.
Some people didn't get lucky.
And what's likely to happen is that they're gonna pass some type of squirrely amendment to the Bankruptcy Code to cover this situation where the seconds are being used to pay off student loans, and they're going to say, well, wait a second, those should be non-dischargeable. and there's nobody in the halls of Congress to protect the consumer against that type of legislation, it's going to pass.
Yeah. And nobody's even thinking about it that far ahead right now.
Yeah, but those of us who are, steeped in the bankruptcy law, the judges, my colleagues, we think about those things, and that we think we have a very forward-thinking way of going about doing things, and we're concerned about that.
Right. Well, you're looking. People will always exploit a loophole, so people are going to look for a loophole to be able to exploit the fact that you can't bankrupt student loans.
Right. And I think that once that becomes prevalent, you'll see legislation to close that loophole.
All right. So, again, if you just tuned in, you're here on the Don and Gino Real Estate and Finance Show every Saturday, 9 a.m. to 10 a.m., right here in your hometown station, AM 1220 KHCS. You can find out more at donandgino.com. You can actually join us in the show here. We have 3 HD cameras, so you can join myself and Mr. Lou Esbin with Esbin Law, a good friend of ours. You've heard his voice on our show for many, many years. That's because he's an expert in his field. Lou, I know you're a certified bankruptcy specialist. There's only like 140 of you, I think, in
That's
the
right.
whole state.
I think 142.
All right.
Hey, nice throw there, Don.
Yeah, that was close.
You almost hit the center of the dartboard.
I pay attention. But that's, out of, 300,000 regular attorneys or something like that.
Yeah, so, a little bit. State Bar certifies 11 areas of specialty. So there's 300,000 lawyers. There's 5,000 total specialists in the state. 142 are bankruptcy specialists. If you're looking for an attorney, look for a certified specialist, regardless of whether it's family law or estate planning or tax. Those lawyers go through a vetting process every 5 years. No other lawyer in California but certified specialists go through a vetting process. We have to show that we've had certain number of education credits. We have referrals from colleagues. We have to have worked a certain number of cases, a certain number of hours in our specialty, and then it goes before a law advisory commission who actually goes through and vets these people and makes sure that everything is as it's supposed to be. We've had situations where lawyers have been disciplined and they're not recertified, notwithstanding they've been certified for a number of years. Certified specialists are the only lawyers in California who go through a recertification process and a vetting among their colleagues.
Is there one master global website that I can go check for all certified specialists?
You can go to the State Bar website. There is a link to specialists, and you'll get a list of all the specialists in the state.
Excellent. Golden nugget
good.
for the day.
All right. That's why we have one of the specialists, Mr. Lou Esbin with Esbin Law.
And I sit on the California Board of Legal Specialization, so I have.
So when yours comes across, you just go approved?
No, I have to do what everyone else does.
I know. And obviously that makes sense. Okay, Lou, so we're running shorter on time.
Okay.
So a lot of you out there are going to have situations where you need certain debts restructured or settled in some way, shape, or form, and you need advice on how to handle that instead of just licking your wounds or not know what to do. I'm sure you can help a lot of our listeners.
It's an alternative bankruptcy. We do debt settlements. People come to us. I say, look, I can't file a bankruptcy for you, but you got income, you got some value in your property. Let's work out this debt. We'll call your creditors, and we'll try to do the best deal we can for you with your creditors, avoid a filing of a bankruptcy. And sometimes, we work with you guys. You guys come up with the money out of property, so we have that lump sum to settle up some of the debt. It's a really great alternative.
Well, it is, and also, not to give everybody credit advice, but debt that is settled with no late payments leading up to that debt, to that settlement, really doesn't have a significant impact on your credit score.
Except it's difficult to settle debt when you're paying
on
time. Because why should we settle with you?
I know. That's
so
the caveat.
That's a difficult part of it.
Yeah.
All right, how can they get a hold of you, Lou? In case they, because I know you'll give them great advice. You even offer some consultation prior to them, basically.
Yeah, so we charge a $100 consultation fee. It's basically keep everybody honest, and so that
little skin in the game.
Little skin in the game.
Right,
people who say, I can't afford that, they're not serious about what they need to do.
And they may not listen the same as they should.
You think?
Yep.
So they can reach me. They can go on my website, esbinlaw.com. Louis at esbinlaw.com is my email address, and I'm available. Call my office, contact my staff, set up a time to meet, and we'll do the best we can for you.
All right. So if you're looking for someone to help you in so many areas, whether it's bankruptcy, setting up your small business, helping you structure your business correctly when receiving funding.
Terms and conditions for your app.
Yeah, terms and conditions.
That's right.
Helping you out with possible debt settlement when you run into some issues. Helping you with seconds and thirds, maybe stripping those. That's a real art to itself.
Learning how not to fail.
And learning how not to fail.
How
You
not to
reach out to
fail.
Lou Esbin at Esbin Law. Thank you for joining us again,
Hey,
buddy.
thanks, guys. Always a pleasure. Always a lot of fun.
I know you're always super busy, so we appreciate your time. And make sure, again, if you want, he's located right off of the old road, a good friend. He's been out here for a while, very accountable guy and a good dude. You can find out he's actually really easy to talk to. Don't be afraid of this attorney. And you'll be glad you did. Again, Esbin Law, esbinlaw.com, right?
Esbinlaw.com.
Cool.
All right.
Thank you,
Thanks
Lou.
a lot. Stay tuned for the second half of our show. We have Mr. Bob Keller coming right up. You don't want to miss that. He's always got inside information. What's happening with your town?